Hello. All right, if you're here early, like we are, you can witness the kitty, the fat kitty with the Christmas costume, the Santa costume,
So
for as
cute.
long as he'll tolerate it.
So cute. Show
He's so
everyone how
happy.
Christmassy you are. So bad. He's so bad.
He's all talk, no bite, and no scratch.
He's so bad. Hey, everybody, say hi, bye, kitty. Say hi.
He's like, no to all of this. The frown.
He's so mad.
Then says he loves it even more than last year.
Yeah, he is mad. He's so mad. All right, I'm gonna take the hat off him at least, because that's
Okay.
How you doing, kid? Say goodbye, fat kitty.
Fat kitty says fuck off.
All right, I will take this off you. You did a good job.
We have Gina here today. How did she manage that? Now he goes to nap it off. Sleep off the anger.
So if my lighting looks weird, it's because surface of the sun bright.
So what do you have the 40 set at on the Chiros?
I just have it set on the shrimp setting, which is pretty bright. Man, it is elevated. And I still have two flue balls on at 100%.
On the 40?
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
I mean, I probably will switch them. The thing is like, even though the Chihiros is plenty bright, I don't think it gives quite enough spread of the light. So I might buy a slim one, like I did for this tank.
Mm-hmm.
This tank is on. I don't think it's too bright. Honestly, it's a lot dimmer than this tank. So, because it's a deep tank. I do need to get the little reflector flaps because it's just bleeding light into the room, and that's why I look all backlit. So,
yeah.
Plus
Is it sitting on your 90 too? I don't see it an elevated one.
No, on the 90, I just have them sitting there.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's a deep tank, and I need all the light I can get. And honestly, I don't think it looks that bright. So just because it's a little brighter, it's brighter than with the. Ooh! Just dropped my light. It's brighter than with the Fuvals, but I would still not say that it's that bright. So Shady Grady says Kelly's going to get a suntan.
So Lando said, "Holy crap! Almost a year being a member. Thank you for being a member, Lando.
Oh, thank you."
And so Gina is here. She said, "New store, new schedule. I just got home. Does this suggest that maybe one day she could join us?
We want to have Gina on to talk about macroalgae tank.
Yeah.
You want to have Gina on? That would be fun. So,
got Clashy saying, "Thank you again for another wonderful Keystone Clash."
It was a good video. I watched it. It was a very good video. It makes me excited to go to the Clash again. So, and registration opens up soon, right?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have
Or
information.
like the hotel opens up, I think, maybe. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could book your hotel anytime if you didn't care about the group rate.
I think the group rate, even though, at least someone asked that. Zenny asked, will I be trying pink flamingo crypts with my new light? Probably not. I mean, I've grown them before and they did pretty well for a while. I just don't really want to grow hard plants. Also, I don't know where I'd put them.
I do, but I want them to be easy.
Yeah. I mean, I've grown them before. They're fine. I am concerned, though, they would get overwhelmed by the stuff that's in there because it's pretty dense in there. So I'd have to pull other stuff, which I don't really want to pull anything right now other than thinning. So, yeah, probably not.
Oh, you can book your hotel room at the group rate right now.
All right. There you go.
Get on that, people.
Get on that for people who like to really plan their lives in advance. Boy, I'm not.
Did you figure out who your secret Santa was?
I never did. I have
Dang.
no clue.
Oh.
Don't you know? I thought you knew.
I mean, I might know.
Well, I mean, you could tell me. I guess you don't have to tell me.
Be fun in that.
Yeah.
Eventually,
I
the
guess
names
I
will all be
haven't
released.
really done a lot of investigation into it, but
yeah.
I love my gift. If that person is watching, I really love it. I've made tea with it every single day since I got it. I also made herbal tea for Jake and I one night. So thank you, whoever gave it to me. You know, whatever mysterious person gave it to me.
I'm sure that mysterious person would say you're welcome, and they're
I
glad
guess.
you like it.
Your Candy wants to know, are you going to deny Candy? So, I mean, like, I included a card with mine and signed my name. I didn't know that, like, being all mysterious was a thing.
Some people know theirs and some don't.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you want to be mysterious, then mission accomplished. So, but I love it. Thank you, whoever gave it to me. You know.
I guess all will be revealed whenever they release the names. There's some post office delays.
Oh yeah.
And eventually everyone will get theirs, or will determine like people aren't getting theirs. I don't think there's any issue with that. I think everyone's been responsive.
So someone asks, hang on, I gotta scroll back. The
Crushed coral question.
Yeah. Since crushed coral will only raise your pH until equilibrium, what would it do to your GH and your KH? It will raise both. Crushed coral is primarily calcium carbonate. So you will dissolve calcium ions into your water, which is GH, and you will raise your KH with the carbonate. So you will raise both, which
and
is
then
not
eventually
I would want to do, and it's very slow.
Right.
And you know, if you're changing water every week, it's not terribly effective. Because
the more it releases KH and GH, the slower it dissolves, and eventually, as your pH reaches a certain point, it just stops.
Yeah, there's a solubility curve to it, and it's much more soluble in soft acidic water. But you know, if you're changing water every single week, you kind of have to start the clock over again with that.
It's also more soluble in cold water too. Like really cold. So like if you have a surface water source in your tap water, that's why during the winter sometimes your hardness will go up just a tad.
Yeah. Which is not how most solubility curves work.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, for instance, with salt, you know, just like table salt or sugar, you get a much more saturated solution if you boil the water. So
same with most GH sources is, you know, the sulfates and stuff. Hotter water, more soluble.
It's true of pretty much everything. So Brandon says it's literally called Secret Santa, Kelly. I mean,
it's a secret.
I just put my name on the card of the one I gave because, you know, that way they can know.
While we will be publicly shaming those that don't fulfill their promises, there is no Secret Santa police, and you will not get in trouble if your secret gets out, to my knowledge, right? Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, I
think we
guess
just
if
laugh
that were
at
the
those
case,
people.
I'd be in trouble then because I put my name on the card. I always do. I mean, you know.
Yeah, or outright say it. It doesn't matter. I think because I got mine from Kyle, and it was return address was from Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I put Fat Kitty's return address on there, but maybe I don't know if my my Santa knows Fat Kitty, or my person knows Fat Kitty. I don't know if he does. Because we're not close. Corey from Aquarium Co-op, I didn't know him very well, so.
Well, he knew that you were a member and posted the gift to members.
That's
only.
True. I just got my 4-year member coin. That was kind of cool. They look really nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. Since Corey would be in the most trouble, he said it midstream.
Yeah, he definitely spoiled it pretty early. I think he was number one.
Well, I mean, like, he was probably going to give them like Aquarium Co-op products. It's pretty easy for him to hit send. So they make good gifts.
Well, that's why Eric suspected. He saw that he had some stuff on the way that he's like, none of these things are things I've ever ordered.
Well, but I once ordered some stuff for Eric from Aquarium Co-op because I don't remember how it worked. Like, someone gave me a gift certificate, but Eric was supposed to win something on my channel, so I just bought him something from Aquarium Co-op. I can't even remember how it went down.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, but I bought him a bunch of stuff from Aquarium Co-op, so because I know what he likes. So.
Do we need Coro to make a new account for Secret Santa Police? Sure. He has no problem just making 1 million accounts.
He has 1 million accounts. I don't have any other accounts.
Or he could repurpose F. Kane.
That was a good one.
F. Kane or Jeff's Kane?
F. Kane. Oh, yeah. So, but anyways, whoever gave me my stuff, thank you. I really do like it. And Jake's like, they should totally take credit for that. They have great taste.
Well, they will eventually.
He did say, though, it's a girl, though, because no guy would do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just doesn't think guys are good enough at gift giving. So.
Yeah, I mean, he makes a good point, but sometimes there's exceptions.
I suppose there are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who it is. Did my computer just make that noise?
Or mine. It's a
very
Windowsy sound. It's a very corporate Windows laptop sound.
I have a West Coast client right now, which is good because I'm more of a night person, but like,
cool.
I blocked off Monday, so nobody schedules a meeting now because they could. I already have like every other week meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays during my yoga time, so I'm not happy about that.
It's around here, like we have some stuff that we need to get done by the end of the month, and then one that's due like early January, but it's still like you try to go to schedule a meeting and everybody's purple, like out of office, and you just kind of have to say like, hey, could you like not be out of office for 30 minutes? That'd be
the company
great.
I'm with shuts down on the 20th until the 2nd. So nobody will do anything, which is fine.
And Brookley's lurking while working. What are you working on, Brookley?
What are you lurking on, Brookley? Little lurker.
What is your lurking purpose?
No. So lurky. Well, yeah, so I only have to go through this week, and then I'm off. I'm going to take off until the 6th. So,
oh, sweet.
Yeah. Jake and we'll go to Wisconsin for Christmas, and then we have time for...
get sick and come back.
Jesus Christ. Well, I was talking to my sister last night. That was fun. And she's like, I'm like, I just got better.
You haven't coughed at all since we started.
I haven't. It took me a long time to get over that cough.
Yeah. It's
And
always the last
she's
thing
all
to
like,
go.
and she's like, oh yeah, this kid's sick and this kid's sick. I'm like, you can't do this to me. Like, you guys need to not be sick. Then she was all bitchy and just hung up on me.
Really?
So that was bad.
I guess because she has to suffer, you have to suffer.
I'm like, I don't want to suffer. Like, I just got better from something.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
anyways.
any new plant plans over the winter for the aquariums?
I'm just tearing down the smallest tank because
And rebuilding it, right? Put it back together.
Not until spring at least. So I'm
Mhm.
having a problem with the wiring in my house, which I
Oh.
always do. And I increased the heaters on these from 100 watt to 200 watt because it really needs it to keep warm. Like, I was just having trouble on the coldest days maintaining the heat in there.
Oof.
But I've been having power outages because I just can't handle that much with my old wiring. So something has to give. And that something is going to be that tank. So all the fish are just going to, they're just going to go in the 90 and they'll be fine. And,
Yeah, what is it? The glow light Danios?
Yeah, there's some glow light Daniels. There's not that many of them. They've aged out. And there's some little cories. There's some shrimp. They'll be fine in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they'll have more room to swim. But,
so what are you going to do with that little Chihiros then?
Maybe I'll put it on this. I don't know. Throw them for you.
2 fluvials, 1 Chihiros, and 1 small Chihiros. That's great.
Well,
just max it all out.
I would take something down. I mean, or I'll just clean the tank and put it in my basement until I maybe set it up later. You know.
Just the experiment: can plants catch on fire underwater? Let's find out.
I mean, what is the plant behind you center and how big does it get? Okay, so I'm assuming you mean this one right here. So this is a sword, an Echinodoris, but it's a variety called Haydai Pearl, and it never gets any bigger than this. I do sometimes trim the outer leaves because they start like pressing up on the glass based on where it is. This is a 90-gallon aquarium. It's pretty tall. And yeah, it doesn't really get bigger than this. It reproduces pretty slowly. I have gotten a couple of pups that have grown off it. I did get like an offshoot off of it. But it is a slower grower and it never gets any taller. It is kind of the nicest behaved little sword. So, you know, it's pretty good. But
I do like mine.
Yeah, as swords go, I really like it. It's maybe a little big for like a 40, maybe a little big for that, but
yeah, it's a fine background plant. Mine's growing pretty slow. Like,
just
it's not
a little big. I will say though that the first time I had it in this tank, I had it in the back and it was just getting overshadowed and it was doing nothing. So that's why I moved it to the front, and it does work pretty well as like a mid-ground plant in a larger tank. But it is a very well-behaved sword, probably the best behaved sword I've ever grown. So I recommend it. It is harder to find though. But I bought it at a fish store in Indianapolis. So like it is the sort of plant that might show up in a local store even. Haydai Pearl.
Yeah. So here's my 40 breeder with the Kamakas. I am battling some green dust algae. I think it's just very much related to how freaking stocked this tank is. So I just got to find the right balance for it. But the Haydai Pearl in the back there, it hasn't gotten any taller since I got it. So it would almost be a mid-ground, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be. Well, I mean, it's a mid-ground plant for me. But it gets a little kind of fat front to back.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe don't put it in a narrow tank. Like in a 55, it would be kind of stuffed in maybe a little bit, but
yeah, I think so.
But it is not an enormous sword. It's very well behaved. So there's some speculations if my sister was my secret Santa. Ah! I love my sister. She gave me 2 beautiful nephews. She has supported me through many, many, many trials and tribulations in my life. But she is not a great gift giver. She called me up the day before my birthday. I was like, what do you want for your birthday? So, yeah, Heather, not a great gift giver, but a great sister. So we all have our strengths. It's not one of hers. In case my mom and dad are watching.
They lurkers here?
I think they've lurked once or twice. But hi, mom and dad, if you're watching. I don't know why you would, but so green dust algae, I sometimes have seasonal issues with green dust algae that just kind of like in every fall I get a little bit of it, and it's just on the
That's
glass.
when it started up for sure.
Yeah,
And
but mine has gone away now that it's cold. So,
Nice.
and I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's farm runoff or if it's temperature changes in the water or dissolved gases in the water. I don't know, but it is something I've observed, at least here, happen, and it just kind of goes away. So, algae is one of those things that it's really hard to pinpoint why
right.
a
There's no
particular algae
specific
happens.
thing. Yeah.
And it's also kind of hard to pinpoint why an algae goes away. It's not like I did anything different. Kind of just
I gotta say though,
went away.
screw pink flamingo. I'm just gonna grow more Renekii pink.
Yeah, I like Rannicki pink. In fact, I just bought some more Rannicki because I thought, well, I've got these Giros lights. I'll throw some in the 90. That's why I have some pots of it right now, and I'm gonna plant some of that in here. I think it'll look really nice. That's a plant I don't like a lot of stems, but I do like all of the alternantheras, whether they are just regular Rannicki, pink, Rosenberg or mini. I like them all. They grow really slowly. They don't require a ton of trimming, and
the mini is pretty red. Yeah.
However, I do think I think they need CO2. Maybe if you have really low pH water, you can get away with it. But if my CO2 runs out, it's one of the indicator plants. Like it will look like crap within a few days.
So look at this leaf. This is kind of the problem I was having recurring with any alternanthera, is that these leaves would look like that really quickly.
They get kind of transparent-y looking, and that just tells me that I need more CO2. In my case, that the CO2 has run out. So Candy says, I'm really liking the Crypt undulata for its pinkness. Not intense, but pretty. Have I ever grown undulata?
Do I even? Hold on.
I gotta feel like at some point
have it,
in my life I have
somewhere in
grown
here.
it, but I can't remember. That's a nice crypt, though. All crypts are beautiful. I like crypts, so
might need to get more.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell I have in here anymore in this crypt tank.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I've given you a bunch of crypts. Oh, Candy says she can't type today because it's been a crap day. I'm sorry, Candy. I hope it gets better.
It's a Monday.
Yeah. And like this time of year, probably lots of people are ordering stuff. So that can be difficult. That's tough.
Brooklyn, do you need help getting your tanks less sad?
Oh no,
maybe one weekend.
Sad tanks. That's a good Christmas project. They're sad. You can have Stephen will help you get them happier for Christmas. That's a good Christmas project.
Lots of stress this season. That's every season, I think.
It's kind of a hard time of year. I feel like for me, like the days are so short and there's so little sunlight that it kind of wears on me. I mean, the sun doesn't come up until almost 9 o'clock here, and then the sun has gone down. So the days are really short. and Candy lives even farther north than I do for latitude wise. So and several of you guys live farther north than me. So it kind of wears on you, I think. Did
So
I
how do
say
you
Rosenberg right? And
Rosener
you pink
Rosenervig?
vein.
I want to hear it in Swedish now.
Rosenervig means pink veins. That's a nice plant. That's a nice plant. So, but kind of it does need CO2, I think.
Well,
Scotch
had
and
me at Scotch. Sounds good to me.
Oh, broccoli.
So Zen says, for some pretty oranges and reds, I really like Amania gracilis. It was so pretty, but my hair algae took it out when it was really bad.
It is a pretty plant. It's just I don't really like stems. I
It's a
don't.
temperamental one. It
It is.
absolutely
And
needs
it's a
CO2.
one.
That's one of those must-have CO2 plants and high light. And it would probably do better if I just did RO water. But it's doing okay in my KH. But God help you if you make any change, it kind of just goes to crap. More
I think they're
temperamental than
easier. I think they're easier rotalas if you want something orange, which I don't know that I necessarily do. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the color I have. So what I'm really happy with, though, is how the rainbows look with the Cheerios light. I mean, the orange rainbows do look fake. So, like the Bozeman eye just looks red, and that's not how they should look. They should look, the kind I have should look deep orange. So it is a little fake. But I have a lot of blue and green rainbows, and they just sparkle. They just sparkle. The iridescence is so pretty, and it's just so worth it for that. So I am really enjoying the look of the lights. And it's not significantly more expensive than Fluval 3.0s because they are more powerful. But they're a lot of money, and I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't had lights crap out on me. So, but if you're setting up a new tank, I do recommend it. And I figured out the app. So Steven sent me a video, but I also found a video, and I'll try to post it in the Discord. This guy, I think he is from Sweden. Don't quote me on that. But he made a really, really good video about how to program and like how to use the presets for like the shrimp setting or the boost setting or all of that, and just how to set it up. And it is not difficult.
Did you use a preset instead?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing instead. Honestly, it's easier to program it, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm using the shrimp setting, which I think it looked the most natural. And you can still change it within the presets if you want. The boost setting is really, really green.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's just too fakey. The fish setting is red. It's red, 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 red. It's a little too much.
On Bozeman mode or chili raspberry.
Yeah, but for some reason the shrimp setting looks pretty okay. It looks pretty.
There's the Weak Aqua has a bunch of presets, and some of them are just like, were you drunk when you came up with this, or were you just like, let me randomly move the sliders and make a new preset? Because like one of them is just straight up green. Like who wants that?
Yeah, well, also it's not really doing you any good for your plants. I mean, plants like boosts don't need super intense light, but plants don't use green light very well. That's why they look green, because they're reflecting those wavelengths back at you. That's why they appear green. They absorb everything, but they don't use green well, so they reflect it back.
Yeah.
So,
Jody says we use the manual settings, move things around until our eyeballs were happy. That's what I did too.
Yeah,
because that's really the most important. Is just what is it? What do you want to look at every day?
Yeah, I just kind of liked the way the shrimp setting looked, so that's why I used the shrimp setting. But obviously you should use what you like. And we keep different fish. Like, I don't have a lot of red fish. I just don't really like the color red that much. So I don't have fish that have a lot of red in them. I have a lot of blue and green fish. So that looks nice to have a little bit more of those wavelengths. So, but it's what you like.
Yeah. So Matt got the message that he's been volunteered to come over and help Mike and help Jody, because Jody is going CO2.
She's doing it. I'm so proud of her.
We got another one.
I'm hoping that after the first of the year that she will she'll stream with us so we can talk to her about it and talk to her about her tanks, talk to her about her pets. Like, we want to talk about all those things. So that would be fun. But yeah, CO2 is a great thing to do. I mean, her water is really hard in Iowa. It's going to help a lot.
It's gonna be an epic tank too, huge.
Yeah,
it's 240 or something.
Yeah, it's an 8-foot tank, so pretty great. Goals. Hashtag goals. I just don't feel like tearing down any tanks I have.
Yeah.
Any of my big ones. I'm pretty happy with them. I don't have room for an 8-foot tank unless I get rid of these 2 tanks. So maybe the green light is for people with dying plants who are in denial. Maybe. I mean,
they're fine. Let me just up the green on them.
They're fine. They're never going to get any better if you only give them green light. Even the presets, though, they do. I mean, they do have some white light in them. I mean,
yeah.
Because when I'm looking, at the light, I see lots of white light on. I don't see all the LEDs looking. But
I am pretty sure that Matt has been on Wet Your Plants.
Yeah, haven't you been on?
Yeah.
Been on, Matt.
It was when we were talking about adding colorful plants when he had just got CO2 set up.
Yeah, you've been on.
So yeah, you're old news, basically.
That's right. We're done with you, Matt.
Moving on.
I mean, and I guess for anyone out there, if you want to be a guest on Wet Your Plants, if you're setting up a tank or you want to try CO2, reach out. Like, we like guests. I mean, if you suck, we don't want you on, but most of you guys are pretty awesome. So
if you're here, you're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
If you're hate watching it, then I mean, thanks.
If you're hate watching,
you probably don't want to be here, but
how many hate watchers do you think we have?
I don't know. How many?
I don't know. Leave a comment if you're a hate watcher.
hit the thumbs down thing.
Hit the thumbs down. Helps. Leave a comment.
Somebody like that angry about plants. It's just
Green Machine Sweden says I mounted CO2 today. Woo! Ooh. That's exciting. That's awesome. I love it.
I wish I could get a huge, like 100-pound canister like Gary Lang's got and just run it to all of the tanks.
I mean, I think the issue though is well, Jenna can't fill that herself because it's like Jenna's height.
Yeah, I would have to take care of that.
Yeah,
but
so I mean,
it would be so rare that I'd have to even do it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a little like hand truck to move it. So I worked with gas cylinders that big in the lab, not CO2, but other gases like nitrogen. And yeah, they're pretty big, and they're dangerous if they get knocked over. But they have a big stand at the bottom of them for safety.
Yeah, notice the 20-pound has a plastic handle around it. The 10-pound doesn't. So I guess they just assume once you get to the 20-pound threshold, the handle helps.
Mine does. Mine has a handle around it, and it's.
Your 10 does? Oh, mine didn't.
Well, one of them does. I think they both do. That one does. That's my backup. Let's see if the other one does. Yep, they both do. They both do. And
we can just roast Whip's water alive on stream.
Oh, poor Whip, you have the worst water. It's just the worst.
We can watch him set up RO and then watch that membrane become exhausted in real time as the water just desperately forces itself through.
I mean, that technology has gotten a lot better, but like, I mean, we used RO membranes in the lab and they would get clogged up pretty quickly.
Yeah, like there's the one from Bulk Reef Supply, like the water saver one. It's only like a 1.5 to 1 ratio, wastewater to RO, and I didn't
Pretty
even think
cool.
that was doable. Like I thought it more so depended on how bad your water was, also.
Yeah, I
But
don't
maybe
know.
not.
I mean, we had whole building RO water in the building I worked for. So there was, a tap you could just open up and RO water would come out of it. Not quite the same pressure as a regular tap, but pretty good. Like enough that you could just change water straight from it. But then we additionally filtered that water because it wasn't good enough for lab standards. Like it was good enough to wash dishes with, but like I wouldn't have done experiments with it. It just wasn't good enough. So Jody says her tank is 6 feet long. So it's an unconventional size. I thought those were usually 8. So, and it's 2 feet deep, which I love having
Ooh,
lots of front to back depth. That's so nice.
so many
Especially,
layers.
well, but for her, she has to kind of scape it with views in mind of the front and the back. So it's almost like an island because she can see it from both sides. 30 inches tall. That's a really tall tank, but you've got Chihiro's lights. So I'm sure you've got them on full power
How
because that's
many? How many are we
a
gonna put
lot of depth.
on that tank? 3?
I think you'd need more than that because I have 2 on this one. I have a slim one and a regular one, and they're going full power, and I don't think it's overlit. I think that you would need it's not. I mean, it's just not. I think you would need
I mean, you're the one who convinced me to step up. I had one Fluval 3.0 on the 90 on this 24-inch tall tank. And I mean, I was growing, the easy stuff was growing, and I had CO2. That helps a lot. You convinced me to get another light. Meanwhile, you had 3 going. I never did get up to the 3rd light, though.
I mean, part of the reason why I need to use so much light is I do use lids. And those I don't know how much they reduce your par, but it's not insignificant. But I have to have lids. That's just that. I have rainbows. They're going to jump. So, and honestly, I would never have tanks without lids anyways. I just like lids.
I
So,
despise them like a lot.
I can't
Yeah.
stand topping off during the week. It just
Oh.
so annoys me.
I don't. Yeah, if I go like 8, 9, 10 days without doing a water change, it gets kind of loud. I could see in the bedroom not wanting to go lidless. I mean, the small one is lidless, but that's fine. But like, if I went lidless with the 90, the spray bar would be too noisy. It would bother me.
Yeah.
I'd
Well,
have
the
to.
other reason why you don't care about you can go lidless is you have almost no GH in your water. When I lived in Iowa, there was
Yeah.
a permanent crusty line, and I had a lidless tank, and it just looked awful all the time because that water had so much dissolved calcium and magnesium in it. Now that's not as much of a problem here, but I still have more GH than you do. You have like no GH.
Well, I mean, I add GH, but I don't think sulfate salts are quite as bad
It's the
as like a
calcium and
calcium carbonate.
it's the calcium and the magnesium. I mean, you do have some carbonate in your water, so that's what precipitates out. So when you add a salt to a water, those ions dissociate completely. So you have some carbonate naturally occurring in your water. So calcium carbonate still can precipitate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a less soluble precipitate than calcium sulfate is. So that's what's going to precipitate out.
Yeah, I mean, I still got some crusty filters and stuff.
Yeah, but it's just not as bad. Mine
No.
isn't that bad. I mean, my God, I've lived in GH of 22, so I know how bad it can be. But still, like, it would start looking a little crusty if I didn't have lids. And I just don't want to top off. It's so dry in the winter here because we have heat running. We have a lot more heat than you do running. And you live in the swamp. So I would be topping off probably 3 times a week, and I don't want to do that. I just don't want to.
I just have to top off. If I don't do the water change in time, I'll top off like once a week.
Yeah,
Now, when I went to the Clash, like I got back and everything was just so loud.
Yeah, I'd be topping off 3 times a week, and I don't want to do it. So
Yeah, I mean,
Anna
there's a lot
Banana,
of benefits to lids besides the evaporation. Like if you want to
yeah.
save on heating bill, like the
Oh,
heaters.
and that's another issue. Like, I mean, it can get difficult. Like if we have a cold snap, it's hard for me to keep my house warm enough. And I want my takes to be 75 degrees. Rainbows are pretty happy at that temperature. Yes, they can get a little colder, but for their long-term health, 75 is a good temperature. I don't really want
Yeah,
them to be below, let's say, 71. However, my house can get really, really cold, and I have 2 200-watt heaters, and things are going a lot better in there with that much heat.
that's good.
If I don't have a lid, they probably can't keep up. As is, I mean, I have rainbows. Obviously, I have to have a lid, but even for other fish, just helps.
So
So,
Anna Banana says, I bet I have one of the worst waters besides people that are on wells, 15 to 18 GH, depending on the time of year,
pretty bad.
12 KH. Cut it with
Liquor
RO, otherwise
hits.
it's pretty rough.
It's pretty bad. I mean, in Iowa, I had 22 KH and GH, and that was only because that's how high the API test kit went. Maybe it was higher than that. It was really, really bad. It was really, really hard. But I'm glad you cut your water with RO.
It's
That
not,
really
yeah,
helped.
like that is not so bad if you can just dilute with RO. It's not a lost cause
Yeah,
water
I mean, even if you can
system.
cut that, if you can cut that 50%, then you have a KH of what I have, 6. Oh,
Same.
that's great. That's great. I mean, you can grow all kinds of things with it. It's good.
Yeah, it makes
So,
low tech easier too.
yeah, but when you have a KH of 12, it's hard. I mean, low tech is hard. Even with CO2,
It's a lot of CO2.
it is a lot of CO2, but it's still difficult with
Hmm.
that much. Life is just a lot easier. And if you have Seattle water out of the tap with like 1 degree of
Screw
KH
you.
or 0, yeah, screw you. I mean, everything grows. It's so easy. Annette says, "Can you have a wet your cat take over the stream
Yeah.
and help Scotty answer all his cat questions?"
She wants me to dress up as a cat and be like the cat expert, and I'm not a cat expert.
Well, we'd have to have Jake on for that. Jake is a cat expert. Whenever I have like esoteric cat questions, he always knows because his mom was a crazy cat woman. He had like 50 kitties. Just he understands the cat mind.
The cat
So
whisperer.
he's a cat whisperer. Yeah. Benjamin
Benjamin said, I
Peterson.
believe there should be a new description of water hardness known as whip water.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Jenna says, I don't think I could lift a 100-pound canister. You can't,
Nah.
Jenna. You're not much over 100 pounds. You're pretty small. And it's like your height. So, yeah, it's because it holds 100 pounds of gas. But then the steel weighs something and the plastic weighs something. So, like, an empty cylinder doesn't weigh 0 pounds. Like,
Yeah.
that's why a 20-pound one when it's full. I mean, I can lift it, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So,
Yeah. I mean, a 20-pound one, I can lift one-handed, but then like, yeah, 100-pound, if I were bringing it empty, I could lift it. And then if I brought it
yeah.
back with 100 pounds of gas in it,
I
probably
mean,
not.
those nobody lifts. I mean, you slide a little hand truck under them
Yeah.
and you wheel them out.
But
So then
where do
you
you
have to
get
lift
one
your 100-pound
besides
one.
robbing a lab?
Yeah, I mean, lab supply, like like Fisher Scientific would get one from, or Thermo Fisher, I guess they are now. But I mean, welding supply stores probably could get you one. Like I've seen, they have some 100-pound cylinders, some pretty big cylinders in the place where I go. I go to a local welding shop called TJ Nowak. I think they're a small chain, so maybe there are other locations in the Midwest. I don't know, but it's a nice shop. People
So
there are really helpful.
I Googled 100-pound CO2 cylinder and I got ads for 50-pound CO2 cylinder.
And that's
And
still pretty
I'm
big.
offended by them not understanding what I want.
I don't know if you can buy them as individuals. I don't know.
And then they ship.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But I found something else. Do you want to know how much does a 50 pounds CO2 tank weigh?
But then the thing is like, how many manifolds are you realistically going to have? Like, I have 2 manifolds
20.
on the regulator. But at a certain point, okay, I'd be okay with 3, maybe 4, but after 4, I don't know.
Haven't tried 4, so I'd be willing to try it. I probably wouldn't like it too much.
Yeah. I think that it's probably easier to have more than 1 regulator at that point.
So Mel's got a KH of 3 and can't remember her
great.
GH, maybe 16. That's not important.
You just need
Anyway.
some GH. You need some GH. You can't have 0 for your plants or your fish. Your fish needs some. Some fish maybe need more than others. I'm not an expert on all fish, so I can't tell you. But a KH of 3, that's good times. Like, you can grow so many things. Life is pretty easy.
Jenna, am I allowed to reveal who her secret Santa is?
I mean, I guess it's up to Jenna.
Yeah. I can say is that Kelly's gift was definitely a special order from Etsy, and I am not her secret Santa. Okay.
I mean, I know it was from Etsy because it said it was from Etsy.
Okay, well, it was me.
It was you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I thought I was making it kind of obvious it was, but maybe not.
Apparently not. Well, I do love it, and I have used it quite a bit. So, yeah, thank you. Good job.
Well,
you have seen.
You can tell Jake that his sexism was not appreciated.
I will tell him. I will tell him. You know, the funny thing is, Jake would totally buy a teapot for someone. That's totally a thing he would do. I mean, Jake has bought me tea things.
But also, just kidding, Jenna helped me. So his sexism was kind of on point.
We did talk about that. I'm like, if it was Steven just get by with, he would just get what Jenna told him to buy.
And I think that in itself is a smart decision. So
it is. Jenna has great taste. Well, thank you. I do like it quite a bit. So cool. Good job. Big Steve says those places lease those giant CO2 tanks. They own them. Do you have a Roberts Oxygen near you?
I don't know. When I was looking for a 20-pound from the fire extinguisher place, he offered to rent one to me, and I looked online. It's like they're $150. I'm not paying rent on this thing, and I've had this that tank now for like 4 years. How much would I have paid for it by now?
My place sells their cylinders. I don't think I can fit a 20-pound under my stand.
I can't either. Mine's the height of the stand.
Yeah,
and it's also, close to 3 feet tall, I think.
Also, I think I would have trouble getting the 20-pound in and out of the truck because it's a Ford F-250, so I have to like lift it up and put it in.
My God, this 100-pound, oh, it's a lot of 4, but still $4,000 for 4 100-pound cylinders. I saw a 50-pound for $400.
Labs don't pay that price either. Like, they have negotiated deals with Thermo Fisher, and because you buy through the university, and the university has deals with them, and
this giant stainless steel, they're pretty freaking expensive. Huh.
I'll
just stick with my stainless 20-pounder.
And at universities, like, a lab doesn't own their own. Like, they have central facilities that you swap out, and then it gets filled at the the central university's central facility. So it's not like we owned a nitrogen tank. So, because what did we have in the lab? I think we had usually nitrogen. I don't know that we ever had CO2. I'm trying to think what we would use that for. They do use big CO2 cylinders for tissue culture incubators. So like for culturing human cells or mammalian cells, because those are buffered with a carbonate system, just like your blood is. So the incubators do have big CO2 tanks with but I didn't work on mammalian cultured cells really, so I didn't have that. We had huge nitrogen tanks, like not liquid nitrogen. We would get liquid nitrogen for other things, but we would get the tanks.
What would plant people
for
use
things.
liquid nitrogen for?
Oh, all the time. So you use it to grind up tissue, like to extract DNA. I use that all
Oh,
the time when I worked in plant labs.
interesting.
Yeah.
I
You
would
can
use it to
yeah,
like
you can use
freeze
RNA.
racquetballs and stuff and then break them.
Yeah. You can use it for RNA extraction. I would say that liquid nitrogen is way better to use than dry ice if you're looking for tips, Rebecca, on your in situ hybridization. And that's because dry ice is dirty as fuck. And you want your in situs to be very, very clean because you don't want to introduce any RNases into them. So what RNases are is they are enzymes that degrade RNA. So RNA is a very unstable molecule. DNA is very, very, very stable. You know, that's why the whole premise behind Jurassic Park, DNA lasts for millions of years. But RNA, it's designed to degrade. So some RNAs only last
Dino
for 20 minutes.
DNA.
Yeah, they only last for like 20 minutes, and depending, there are some mechanisms they can last for maybe 24 hours, but they're designed to disappear. They're an ephemeral molecule. But RNases, which are the enzymes that degrade RNA, are super crazy stable. They can be boiled and they're not denatured. They can be autoclaved and they're not denatured. So it's really difficult to preserve RNA when you extract it because you have to keep things really, really clean. Like if you breathe on it, you can get RNases on it. If you touch it, you can get RNases on it. So you want to use really clean reagents, and dry ice is really, really dirty, whereas liquid nitrogen is a lot cleaner. So I would use that. I can give you all kinds of tips on RNA voodoo because I've done tons of RNA work. But
Cool. It's good advice for anyone else in chat who's thinking about extracting RNA from.
yeah, if you want to extract RNA, I can give you all kinds of tips, like just so many tips. But yeah. So what you do for that is you can't autoclave and destroy it. So usually you sterilize all your solutions in the autoclave, which is it's a pressure cooker. But you have to treat everything with this nasty chemical called diethyl pyrocarbonate, which is DEPC. And what it does is it puts a carboxy group onto proteins, which is not good, right? Puts it on every single protein. And
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, but then if you autoclave that, it breaks down into CO2 and water, so it doesn't interfere with your reactions after that. But it's kind of a nasty sort of chemical. Yeah. So Anna Banana is saying that she did cesium gradients. Man, that's old school. God, those are hard. I would not. It makes a very clean preparation, but nobody does cesium gradients anymore. You need an ultracentrifuge for that. It's too hard. It's too hard. Oh, enough of that. Okay.
Oinky wanted to share this. Everyone new to the hobby should be aware of kit tanks. I found this tank on Amazon and it is not right for anything to live in.
Oh God, what is
God,
it?
There's so many of these horrible things.
Does it have like a weird bunny on it? What is that thing?
That's a freakish bunny.
That is
sitting on the lid so the betta can't escape its torture chamber.
Yes. How many gallons is that thing?
This looks like chopped vegetables for a freaking gumbo. What the hell is he?
It's gumbo veggies.
It looks like peppers and onions. Look.
It does. And then black beans. It looks like there's black beans. It's like what is that dish? It's like cowboy caviar or something.
Yeah.
Well, for anyone out there thinking of buying it,
Oof.
Oinky says no good. 0.2 gallons. Jesus
Oof.
Christ. It's not even as big as a jug of milk. Wow.
It's cheap.
Ugh.
$10 for that. Because I guess it can hold a plant.
It can hold a plant. There you go.
Oh, look. Hey, look, Zen. You can put your glowfish in there. Look how happy they are.
Oh my God. You know what though? You could just only grow plants in there. I wouldn't grow submersed plants in there because they're going to turn to algae and be gross.
Mm.
But you could make it into a tiny terrarium, I guess, with a light over it. I don't know why you would, but you could. Rebecca says, I love the photoshopping skills. They're better than mine.
Oh my God. Is that like an ulcer on that betta?
Oh God, they couldn't
I didn't
even
even know this.
Photoshop in a healthy betta. Oh my God, you're right. Oh wow.
Oof.
It's got like mycobacteria.
Oh my
Zenny
God.
says, what about the shrimps? I guess maybe you could keep shrimpers in there. You could maybe. I personally don't want to ever have less than a 5-gallon tank.
I've got the 2.5 gallon bowl, and it has ram's horn snails and it has boos.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. Ram's horn snails are fine.
And a bunch of CO2, which the
A
ram's
bunch of
horns are
CO2.
totally fine with that. Yeah. I mean, they've been in there for a while, and it's 0 kh, and I think it's about 5. The pH is about 5.5 when the CO2 is on.
Those shells are not winning any contests. Yeah, I have a lot of snails too. They're just not lookers. Oinky says, "Would that tank be appropriate for my next monster?"
Is that cut veggies and substrate? It is. Yeah. But actually, what it is extremely hard, jagged crystals.
Oh wow.
That's awful.
Well, there you go. Oinky says not to get it. Oh my God, it can hold your pens.
How many goldfish did they cram in this box? 1, 2, 3,
wow.
4. They're all gasping at the surface.
Oh, God.
There's nothing, no water moving in there. Do they really use like shit fish in these things as an ad? Okay, here's a betta that is alive-ish for now.
Photoshopped in. Sarah the Great says
Man.
it looks like a bad Greek salad. That's
Ugh.
pretty good too.
Yeah.
The creepy rabbit comes in chrome too. But Matt says, "Oh, I can now take my Oscar to work with me." Matt, you work from home. You already have your Oscar at work with you.
The chrome rabbit. Yeah, it doesn't look like Photoshop. I mean, they're pretty.
Jody says, "Not gonna lie, my snails have excellent shelf." Yeah, when you have water that hard and no CO2. Yeah.
Just in case you didn't realize exactly how small this thing is.
Oh my God.
Here's the dimensions for you.
It's like the size of a recipe box.
You know what's cool though is this little basket that fits around the rim of the tank that you could put immersed plants in rather than office supplies.
You know, if they made that like actually big, I think that would be cool.
Right.
You know, if they made that like 5 gallons, I think that would be a cool little thing. Rebecca says it's like Elf on the Shelf, but the rabbit is doing awful things to the fish. Oh God. Oh.
Yeah, it's not Photoshop. They had to put a new betta in. They must have taken forever to take the goldfish picture because the goldfish were running out of air, running out of oxygen.
That's.
Ugh.
You know what? Oinky says not to buy it, and we concur. Don't buy it.
Yeah, don't buy that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, spend your money on better things. Just anything better.
It's got 2.5 stars on
wow. That's
Amazon. Even
that's
the
pretty
Vine,
bad because those 2.5 stars come from bots and trolls. I mean,
the Vine review, the Amazon Vine customer gets, they get the free product and gave it 1 star.
Wow.
It's not suitable. Yeah, too small. This is cruel. Horrible tiny environment. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, don't buy that. You know, when I think about like you could just go to PetSmart and get a 10-gallon tank. I mean, they used to be you could get one for $10. Now they're probably on sale, what, like 15 maybe? I don't know. But still, you keep a lot of things happily in a 10-gallon. But maybe it won't fit on your desk.
Even my pest snail aquarium is like 9 gallons.
Yeah, even they deserve more.
Well, yeah. I mean, I want to grow a good volume of them, and there's only so much toxicity they can survive.
I mean, they're still, even though they are destined for food, they are still a living creature, and they still deserve care.
Yep, they get a good life and a very, very quick death.
I mean,
And some of them, they get to spend some time cleaning up fry food in the breeding rings and
that's pretty
cleaning off
fun.
plants.
It's a life. Matt is suggesting you buy the small fish food from Aquarium Co-op. I haven't
Small
tried
fish
it yet,
feed.
but I don't think it's appropriate for me, right? 'Cause
You don't have
it's
anything
kinda
that
too small
would
for
benefit from it.
rainbows. Yeah, I do really like the Easy Community floating pellets. Here.
You gotta
I'm
show the
Dr.
label.
Kelly Foreman, and I recommend Easy Community floating pellets.
It's got what fish crave.
It
Food.
does. I do like the way though that it stays floating for a long time. So
Yep.
you know,
And it
I think it's good.
swirls around in the water column and everybody
Yeah.
gets a bite.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, there are other fish foods that are also good. So but I'll buy it again. I'm about out of it. I'll buy some more of it. Why not? But the magic nano food the magic small fish food that everyone's crazy about, I just don't think it's quite appropriate for my fish. I think they're too big. So Matt asked, when are we getting Fat Kitty Wet Your Plants merch? I mean,
Get on that.
I don't know. I'm not designing it. Fat Kitty is not designing it. I think there are a lot of people though who would like to wear Fat Kitty merch. He is popular. He's more popular than I am. He has star power.
Mary Oliver in chat. It's a new name. Welcome.
Hi, Mary. Like the poet. She's
and
from Indiana.
Sarah
She's
the Great's also
poet.
a new name. I recognized her name because she was on Mexicali's
Sarah.
stream recently,
Yeah.
and I think she's going to be on with MNC next week. I was just on with Mike and Curtis yesterday.
Awesome.
And Jimmy P as well. Don't
I
want to
love
forget
that
him.
we're getting lots of new people. It's exciting. It seems like every week we get new people, and we love having new people. And if you're out there lurking, just consider joining the chat. We love having new people.
Something. Stop creeping around.
So Candy says, I have a large geophagus surfing the water surface for magic small feed. So maybe I should try it. You know what? I'll order some of it and see. Rainbows will eat anything. So I'll give it a shot. Why not?
I mean, my spotted Congo puffers eat it. They're not happy about it. They're like, what is this shit when we're trying to get snails here?
I mean, rainbows, the only thing I've found that they won't eat are chia seeds. They will not eat them. So Fish Tank Barn says, I tested to see how long the co-op community pellet floated. A few are still floating the next day, 14 hours. They do float a long time. I don't think I'm ever going to see any float for 14 hours because rainbows, man,
they'll find it.
They'll eat anything, but it does float a very, very long time. So that's nice.
We got some lurkers coming out into the future.
Hello!
Gina came back out of lurking. Noelle's here.
Hello!
Fish Dreams.
We love you, lurkers! Jenna says, Candy, it sounds like he's calling everyone a hoe. I don't know what that's from, but what were you calling a hoe, Matt? Matt is calling people hoes. Well, there you go.
My larger fish gobble the magic food and look at me as if they're still starved. I'm not sure at what point to consider a food too large or small. I mean, too small is whenever they don't even notice that you put it in there.
I have
Uh,
seen that happen even with rainbows. I tried to feed them some springtails because I have a
yeah,
culture
those
of
are
them for my
nothing to
terrarium.
them.
They just don't notice them.
Yeah,
But if you had really tiny fish, I think they're an easy live food to culture because I put no work into it. I neglect them completely and they still proliferate.
they
So,
just hop around on the water. They're happy to be there as long as you got plants. It seems like that's how they exist.
yeah, for springtails, I mean, I bought a culture of them. I've kept them in the original charcoal. About every 6 months, I'm like, I should do something for these things. And
I
I
didn't
open it
buy
up.
springtails to have springtails. Like they arrived.
Oh, yeah. I every now and again I put rice in there or oats. I've put a little bit of potato in there, cooked or uncooked, doesn't matter. And then I forget about them for another 6 months and they're always fine. There's always tons of them because it's closed. There's always water in there so they don't dry out. I mean, some people have said that like you need to open them periodically to make sure that they have enough oxygen. I have not found that to be true because I am very neglectful of them and they've always been fine. So,
Well, I guess eventually is you're opening them sometimes to see that they're still there. Then I guess that's
every
enough.
6 months, I'm like, I should probably feed
Yeah.
these. So, but I've had that culture going for a couple of years. So,
Vinegar eels are pretty easy, except I can't figure out what I want to do with them. I don't
yeah,
feed them anything.
yeah. I mean, the springtails I just put in the terrariums. They're just, they're there to recycle detritus, help out the plants a little bit. They don't do that much, but they don't need to do that much.
Mm.
Just make it a bioactive terrarium. So,
Yeah, I like more concerning to me is food that's too large, especially for rainbows, because they don't know it's too
yeah,
large.
I
They'll still
agree.
give it a shot.
And that's why I used to feed like sinking wafers, like the extreme sinking wafers, which I think are a good food, like for your quarries and stuff. But they will swim down to the bottom and pick them off the bottom, and they'll get them stuck in their craws,
Ugh.
and they'll get stuck there for like 20 minutes. And I've had to like scare the fish to get them to spit it out because I don't want them to damage their throats. So, I mean, they're not real smart and they have really narrow throats and they're so food greedy. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, smaller food, it's safe. I mean, rainbows will eat baby brine shrimp and they like it. So maybe they would like it fine. I'll give it a shot. I'll order some. But they do like the community pellet. They like it. I mean, but rainbows, they like pretty much everything. So they're not picky eaters. You know, some people have fish that are really picky eaters and they struggle with finding a food, but rainbows are not like that.
Yeah, I don't do well long term with the picky eaters because I forget sometimes that I've got the picky eater. Like I had pygmy sunfish for a little while, and they
Yeah,
won't eat anything except live and frozen. And then I
yeah, those
forget
are.
that, like, oh, I got to feed my grindle worms. I can't get any grindle worms out of the culture yet. And then I feed them, and then I forget. And so, like, those sunfish might go like a week without food. And yeah, I don't think I want to do that anymore. So
Yeah, I
the
don't
only
either.
picky
I
eater I've
wouldn't
got
either.
now are the puffers, and they're
One
not
picky
really out of
eater.
sight, out of mind like the sunfish are. They will let me
Yeah.
know
The
every time
sunfish
they see
are
me.
they're really cute. They're really pretty little fish, but they are tricky. I
Hmm.
know Foxanne and Brian, they have the toothpick fish, and they're fussy little eaters too. But then Dan and Johnny said that they will eat the magic nano food or the magic small food. And it's the first time they've ever been able to get them on a prepared food. So that's a big deal. I
Yeah.
mean, because they're fussy little fish, but they're cute. They're, they're kind of an awesome fish. Have I ever utilized anthurium in my tank? I have not, and I've wanted to, and I don't know why I didn't buy one because they had some at Trader Joe's for like $5, and they're super pretty. So they're related to a peace lily, so they're in that family. They have the spade and spadex flowers, but they're like bright lipstick red. They're super pretty, or pink. They can come in pink too. But I
Nice.
think it would grow really well. They like wet feet. I think they would grow well. If they have them at Trader Joe's next time I'm there, which I don't go to Trader Joe's often is the issue.
Is
But,
it okay to touch anthurium? Oh,
it can be a painful mistake.
touching. I wouldn't nibble on anthurium. Or is this crystal anthurium? Is it like a
I have
different
not
one?
heard about this. I
Mm,
mean, they're a pretty easy plant to keep. Don't eat them.
yeah. Well,
Like, don't eat anything in that family. That family is not great. It's not good for you. I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything edible in the Uraceae family. So that's the spathe and spadix flower. So the spathe is a modified leaf. That's the red part. And the spadix, that has the true flower parts on it. So it has the male and the female flower parts on the spadix. So like Anubias, Boos, Crypts, they're all in the Uraceae family. Jack in the Pulpit, Peace Lilies. I don't think there's anything food in that family. But I would give it a go, Oinky. Try it. So Mr. B's CPDs, is that a new name? I don't know.
I've seen him around.
Hello, Mr. B. Fed your rainbows the nano food, got worried because they started sifting the sand like geos. But rainbows will do that. I mean, they will like poke around at the substrate. So I have like 4-ground plants on all of mine. So they can't really sift the sand, but they will poke through the substrate and huff food out of it. Unless they're like actively swallowing gravel, I wouldn't worry too much. They do like to do that. For some reason, Gary Lang likes to say that like rainbows never eat off the bottom.
Yeah, that's strange to
he say
me.
that?
That's like a thing that you can observe pretty
All the
easily.
time. Like I've taken videos of it. Might eat off the bottom all the time. Some individuals more than others, but it seems to me a thing that all rainbows do.
Mhm.
At least all the ones I've kept, and I've kept a bunch.
So Mary Oliver, talking about rolling wheels for CO2 tanks. Yeah, that'd be more convenient than a hand truck. Put some
But
wheels
I
on it.
would be worried about the safety of that because you can't knock them over. You don't
I think
want to
ultimately I'm gonna stick
bump
with
it
just
into a
20
wall.
pounders.
Yeah, because like you need something that is liftable. If you got a 50, I don't think Jenna can lift a 50 either. Even though Jenna is she's super strong. She's got mom arms. But 50, I mean, a full 50-pound tank is going to weigh, I'm guessing 75 pounds. I don't think I can lift 75 pounds.
Yeah, for the most part, I have appropriately sized cylinders. The only one, maybe not so much, is I've got the 5-pound on the 40 in the living room, and I think I probably have the highest levels of CO2 on that one, and it lasts about 4 months, and it'd be nice, an 8-month.
I have a 5-pound on the small tank, and it lasts like a year.
Oh,
Because it's the only tank it's
dang.
on. Yeah, it lasts a year. This one, I have a 20-pound on 2 tanks, and I would say it lasts about 3 months. Or I'm sorry, yeah, it's a 10-pound tank. So I mean, it
A
would be
10-pound,
nice.
yeah.
It would be nice to have a 20, but I have 2 tanks. I have a backup. So
Yeah,
that
that's
helps.
handy.
Yeah, that helps. Well, mostly I do that because they're only open Monday through Friday. So then I can go get the tank filled, and then Jake will put it on the weekend. So
Yeah, the fire extinguisher place, they close at 4:30 unless they decide that they're going to close at noon, or that the CO2 guys there decide to leave early. So kind of a roll of the dice if they're going to be there.
yeah. So spade or Garage Gills asked me if the spathe, it's not spathe. Autocorrect probably caught that. Is it a bract? No, because bracts are modified sepals. So like if you look at a normal perfect flower, like think about a tulip. So the little green little bud covering leaves at the bottom of that. So those are sepals. Sometimes in some plants, those are colorful. So like, think of like a dogwood, or trying to think of another option. Bougainvillea, the colored part of that, those are bracts. But this is actually a modified leaf. So it's just it's a different tissue that's modified. And it's called a spathe. And that whole family is characterized by spathe and spadix flowers. It's the hallmark of the family.
Well, no. What's wrong with you people? I need to know when audio is off balance.
Am I? I can't control. I don't know.
I
how
have
to
no
change
idea
my
because
audio.
I have no frame of reference. Yeah.
I don't
it
even know how to
sounded-
change my audio. I think Steven,
I
you
can
do
change
that?
it. I just increased it slightly.
Would you like me to yell more, Coro? I feel like I'm being kind of loud. I can yell more, though. Would you like that?
Oh, good God. I think it just kind of compressed your voice as you yelled. Like it didn't really increase in volume.
That's how I know I'm finally done coughing. I didn't cough while I said that.
Wow. Yeah.
That's an accomplishment. I don't think I've coughed at all today, because I was still coughing a little over the weekend. It took a long time to get over that cough. So Jenna says I could maybe lift 75 pounds in a short burst. I don't know about carrying it from the parking lot to the store and lifting it to a counter. Maybe your husband can do that. How about
Yeah.
that?
See, that's the
Jesus
threshold where I
Christ,
would feel
Jenna.
bad and I would end up doing it.
I make Jake lift anything over like 35 pounds. That's his job. What's
I
he
was
for
gonna
if not to
refill
lift things?
my own 10-pound by myself, and then while she was out of town, I
mean,
just didn't.
Jake just sent me a picture of him at the gym. Let me tell you the weight he's lifting.
So you do that a lot, just like
Once in a while. Well, this was his
show you
one
his
rep
game.
max for the trap bar deadlift, and it's like a personal best.
Oh, okay.
And it's 365 pounds.
Shit.
365 pounds. So I don't need to be lifting that much. Like, that's his job. I mean, this is Kelly setting back feminism one CO2 tank at a time. You know what? I am totally secure in my feminine power. I have a PhD. I do enough.
Nice.
I think I make more money than he does. I don't know. So
Who's counting?
I know. What kind of depends on the farm year. Because, if the farm makes a lot of money, which once in a while it does, so his income can change.
Stan makes a good point. 70 viewers, 44 likes. Hit the
button, people. Come on. It costs you nothing. Hit the dislike button if you dislike it.
Just any button.
Just
any of the buttons.
Hit buttons. Matt says someone to do all the work.
Yeah. He said that's why we got married. About why we get married.
That's right. Oh. Coralworks says feminism isn't making women carry heavy items. It's the choice to carry heavy items or to delegate. Amen to that. I choose to delegate.
There you go.
That's right. I mean, he lifts 365 pounds for fun. He can lift 40 pounds for not fun.
Does he do it for fun? Is that really fun?
Yeah, there's nothing that makes him happier than going to the gym. He loves it. It's just a happy place to him. I mean, he's always so happy when he gets out of there. I mean, I like going to yoga, so no, cool. I get it. Yeah, he's pretty happy at the gym. Jenna says you can also get married for insurance benefits.
Yep, there's that. There's the married filing jointly tax benefit, I think.
That's pretty non-existent when you don't have kids. There's not much benefit to getting married for taxes. The best benefit for taxes is having children. Your little deductions.
Yeah.
But totally, then again, they cost so much.
Yeah, they certainly don't cost several times more per year.
I mean, they eat so much food and they need so much stuff. Because my nephew, like, so we were after his ass to get us a Christmas list. And he kept just submitting a list that had one item on it, and that item was iPhone. And we're like, Aunt Kelly is not buying you an iPhone. Like,
And also sign him up for a plan
think
and pay
lower.
for his data for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I'm like, think lower. Also, your mom doesn't want you to have an iPhone. Like, you're a 6th grader. She doesn't want that for you. So, and that's her prerogative. So, like, think lower. So he finally came up with a list of, reasonable things. So that was good.
Are they all like iPhone parts? Yeah.
No, like he wanted some headphones and an RC car, and what else did he want? He wanted me to make him a lasagna for Christmas Eve. I'll do that. Oh, Foxanne says he didn't
No
want
donuts?
donuts this year. No, but his brother said chocolate covered Oreos. He did say he wanted candy and money, though. Candy and money. Like that was one entry.
Just
But
one
Jake,
line.
yeah, Jake likes to buy them like a big box of trash food, just like total junk food, just shitty donuts and cookies and yeah. Stan Pittman says, I want to claim my fish as dependent. I know, right? How great would that be? I have a lot of fish. That would be pretty great.
If we're counting all these guppies, I don't even know.
Man, if I could declare guppies as dependents, I might have guppies.
And then I want to get audited. Like, okay, you come count these guppies.
You count the guppies. Like before the audit, you could just like feed really, really heavy.
You put the ONIP tabs on the glass, makes it easier.
That's true. That's
They all
true.
come out.
I know. I feel like cats should count as dependents. And like I should also get to declare the outdoor cats as dependents. Because I have to feed them. God, Brookley says so damn much food. Yeah, I bet your son eats a lot, Brookley. He looks like he could really put away a lot of food. I bet
He's like 10 feet tall, too.
Your husband eats a lot, too. You go through a lot of food, Brookley. I feel for you. Yeah, your son is a weed. He is a weed.
A pogo stimmin.
Oinky suggests, how about a big ass bag of chocolate covered potato chips? They would eat it. They love trash food. I mean, they love it. So.
Yeah, seems a bit much.
Jenna says, Kelly can get him one of those dummy display iPhones like when he got Lillian as a baby. I think when he was little, they had like an old disabled like flip phone or something they gave him. So oh no, you did buy a lot of stuff. You did buy a lot of stuff. We've all been there. We've all been there.
Bunch of mosses.
Yeah, my advice, just don't look. Just don't look.
Stay in denial.
That's right. Just don't look. So, I guess my thing is, so I bought Heather a Vitamix blender for Christmas, which is kind of an expensive blender, but it was on sale for for Prime Week. And I ordered it before Thanksgiving, and it was 10 days later and it hadn't come. So I, had them send me another one, and then that one came. And then today, another one came. So I have an extra Vitamix blender. And then
they didn't tell you to send it back?
Well, no. And it looks like when I go on my Amazon, it says that another replacement has been ordered.
Oh.
So I don't know what's going on. I mean, am I going to get a third Vitamix blender? I don't know.
That's strange.
I mean, it's like it's about a $400 blender. Like, it's not.
Yeah, like I've ordered like a $20 item before from Amazon, and it didn't seem like it was going to arrive, and then they sent me another one, but then they like sent a shipping label and like this warning, like if the other one arrives, send it back or we'll charge you for the cost of it. Like, and that was like a very low dollar value item.
I didn't get that. Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, because I had to talk to a person. You know, I had to chat with, maybe it was AI, I don't know, and they just sent me another one. They didn't
AI is
say
just like,
anything.
you can get it for free.
I guess so, because like I don't have a return label for it. Like if yeah, so I don't know. Since I've inadvertently entered the Vitamix of the club month club, because I already have a Vitamix for me, and you really only need one Vitamix blender. Like it's one of those things that like you buy and you kind of buy them for life. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Like, should I try to send it back? Should I give it to my parents? I don't know. Am I getting a third one? I don't know.
So Brooklyn Son Brogan is determined to be taller than me. I believe in him.
I believe in him too. You know, he's putting in the work. He's eating a lot of food. He's still young. He can do it. I believe in him. You do it, Brogan.
He just
Get
has
taller than Steven.
Brooklyn's
Also,
height genetics to contend with, and
and that's difficult. But Steven is shrinking because he has age to deal with. So Brogan can do it. He can do it. Brooklyn is short though. That's tough. I mean, because it doesn't look like Lillian is going to be super tall.
I think Lillian's done growing, but
the genetics were just too much to overcome.
Jody asking how tall I am, like 6'2", barefoot.
I thought you were more like 6'3". Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm 5'10". You're quite a bit taller than me, so. Steven's like 5'8". Jake is only 5'8". Jake is short, so yeah. But I'm 5'10". So Brooklyn thinks that he will stop at 6'2". That's still pretty tall. Because Brooklyn, I don't know if you knew this about yourself, but you were short. You were very short. Brooklyn has a very tall torso, though. When we're seated next to each other, I think she's taller than me. Because my height is all in leg. It's all in leg. So Jenna says Lillian was 5'4" the last time she was at the doctor. I mean, I think the average woman in the United States is 5'4", so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, Mary Oliver having the same issue with now they want stuff returned. I don't know, maybe I hit a return threshold or something.
Yeah, maybe. So Jody P says she's 5'9" and one of the shortest in her family. I too have this problem. I'm the shortest in my family. So I'm 5'10". My sister's 5'11". My mom before grandma shrink was 5'11" and a half. My dad is 6'1" and my brother is 6'4". So yeah, I'm the shortest. And when my mom, like when she would talk about a coworker, she'd say, yeah, she's real short like you. I'm like, or she'd say, well, you know, my legs are a lot longer than yours. My legs are kind of long. Freshwater limpets. Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, if you were feeling sadistic, you just scrape them off with a razor. I mean, I don't think there's anything else you can do about that.
Wait, yeah. I'm trying to see what they look like.
I mean, I think they look like saltwater limpets. And they're not quite barnacle-y, but like they're a gastropod. They're a univalvular mollusk that adheres to the glass. Yeah.
And do they not get any bigger than this?
The freshwater ones stay pretty tiny, I think. I mean, Foxay can confirm for us. I mean, I think that if you were feeling sadistic, she says they stay very small. that you just scrape them off with a razor. Otherwise, you know, lots of RO water, or I know your water is pretty soft. Stop putting extra calcium in it, and that will dissolve their shells. But I don't know if that's bad for the axolotls. I'm not an expert on axolotl care. But so Corework says we have them. They are not very competitive compared to other snails. Weird flat snail things on the glass. Yeah.
So I'm thinking that I might have them because I'll turn on the light on the puffer tank at night and I see them. Something looks very much like this covering the glass. And I thought, oh, that's a lot of baby snails. But then I'm just thinking, how in the hell would that many snails be breeding in a puffer tank?
If I recall, in mollusks, they are much more ancestral than snails. So they are a more primitive clade. I hate to use the word primitive because it's sort of loaded language if Rebecca is watching. But they are older than snails or clams. But yeah, I think you could just scrape them off. But I don't know if they're crusting up the tank and bothering you. I mean, you could scrape them off and feed them to a puffer, I would think. But then again, your puffer's not eating them.
Yeah, maybe they're really tiny. Maybe they just don't care about them.
Maybe not. That's true. But maybe pea puffers would eat them. I don't know. I am not an expert on pea puffer care.
I don't know.
I've never had pea puffers.
Well, if there are no plant questions, there are very few plant questions today. Everybody's plants are doing good.
No, everybody's plants are doing good. My plants are doing pretty good. The ones outside are cold, but that is normal. That is what they're supposed to do. So, yeah, I mean,
I think we'll just go eat some dinner or something.
I am very hungry. But anyways, thank you everyone. I will not be streaming next week because I think we're gonna either be driving to Wisconsin or already in Wisconsin, unless they all have the plague. In which case, Jake and I will have Christmas by ourselves.
Well, hopefully there's no drama because you don't want to get sick for like the third time in the last few months.
I need a break from being sick. I just need a break.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, she's sick all the time because she's a teacher and she has kids. And so she's just accepted that as a way of life. But I don't accept it. I don't want to be sick. So, yeah. But otherwise, I think January 6th, I will be back for. So, because the 30th. Yeah, the 30th, Jake and I we'll be driving to Tennessee to go to the aquarium.
Okay. So yeah, the 23rd and 30th, I may or may not stream alone or with somebody or water chain stream or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah.
What's going on.
Depends. You guys are not going anywhere for Christmas, right?
Nah.
You have kids. They can come to you. Also, Jenna's mom is like right there. So it's not far to go.
So I guess one last plant question before we go.
All right.
I wanted to know if turning the light up brought my algae back. Is it better to cut back strength or duration?
I mean, I kind of like to cut. Personally,
it's 9 hours right now.
I kind of like to cut back strength personally because, I mean, I don't know. Aesthetically, I like to look at my tank a certain number of hours a day.
Same.
A lot of our fish, many of our plants, but not all, are from tropical parts of the world where the photo period is 12 hours. So I like to just cut back. If you have the choice, I like to cut back on intensity. If you don't have that choice with your light fixture, you can cut back on photo period. But I guess if I'm given the choice, I cut back on intensity.
And she
So
can lower the intensity. It's at
yeah,
70% right now on it's the
yeah.
prism light.
I mean, so I was running flu vols at 100%, 2 of them on this tank. When I first set this up, I had a period of algae, and I think I cut it to 20% for a while, and then I just gradually raised it like 10% a week.
See,
Once the problem resolved. But then I just slammed a Chihiros on there, and it seems to be doing fine. But the tank is pretty stable. So, I mean, if I see problems cropping up, I'll do something about it. But
and Zen, send me a picture of your tank again, because if I recall correctly, your plant load in that tank is like really, really low.
yeah,
And I think your unwillingness to put something fast grower, like something that's just a weed in there just to get things balanced.
Right. Well, and you had floating plants on it. And that means you don't have 70% light, you have 15% light. And plants do need something, because you want to make your plants happy to outcompete the algae. So that's why I said to get rid of the floaters and put in some sort of weed.
Yeah, like all of my tanks in general are just wall to wall plants, but
Same with mine.
it helps if you really up the
For
plant
sure.
load on it.
Yeah, and that's why I can slam more light on there, and it seems to be doing just fine. I mean, it's been a week of this Chihiros on here, and it's fine.
Yeah, there's very little blank space unless I'm trying to grow something out.
I have almost no blank space. This tank has no blank space at all. So some easy weed really helps. Choose your easy weed. There are lots of them.
Pearlweed and Rotala. Well, it better be wall to wall.
Yeah, I would just plant more Rotala. Like just plant more of those stems. And you can get rid of them later. You can get rid of all of them later.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started this tank, I had that Hygrophila cherry leaf, Hygrophila corymbosa cherry leaf that looks like a tree. And it just grows so fast. I think I threw it out after 3 weeks because I couldn't take it anymore and the tank was kind of balancing out. So just some easy weed. When I started this one, I don't remember what I had for an easy weed, but it's nice to have at least one easy weed. Rotalas are good. Lots of hygros are good. Brazilian pennywort, that's a weed. Pogostem and Slelatus octopus.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Those are all easy weeds. Coreworks says, what was the verdict on color spectrum and algae growth? Are there spectra that keep plants red but don't grow algae very fast? So it depends on the algae, but most of them have the same chlorophyll that plants do. So they have chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Some of them have other chlorophylls, but most of those chlorophylls, they like red and blue light. They can use other wavelengths. They tend to reflect green light back. So I don't think there is any correlation. Like there's some people say, oh, if you give your tank any blue light, you're going to get algae. Well, I've been blasting my tanks with blue lights for years and they're fine. So I have not found that to be true. I don't think it's ever, I mean, if you use only green light, you're not going to make your plants very happy. You're not going to make algae that happy either, honestly, because algae does have chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B and other chlorophylls too that would reflect the green light back. So I would say just choose something that grows plants well, and that's the best you can do. All right, so Zenny does have.
It's a pretty, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but.
Like she's concerned about losing color in the plants, but like right now with all of this stuff at the top, like.
Well, that's all floating stuff at the top, right?
Right. This Dasin here, like this Dasin could be a lot more colorful.
It looks kind of weak sauce, in my opinion. Like that, it's not good. It looks really starved for light. And that's because you have all those floating plants.
Yeah.
I would get rid of the floating plants 100%. And I would really just let your Rotalas grow wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're
Rotal
fast
is looking good
growers.
at the top there. You can see like where they're
Yeah,
hitting that light threshold.
but they're an easier plants than the Pogo Dawson. They're an easier weed.
And you
So
don't
they'll
want to
grow
starve
faster
these of
for the
light
light.
either. The pink flamingos.
Yeah, I mean, they do need a fair amount of light. I would just get rid of all the floating plants. I mean, I know I've teased you about that a lot, but honestly, I would. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's a thing you haven't tried yet.
And also, like I would, when you get the RO set up, just start doing RO water. Like just get
Yep.
into that routine because you'll have to do it with the salt water
Yeah.
anyway. And I bet a lot of problems will go away just because you have all that fertilizer in your tap water. So
Yeah.
you're not really
And your water's
refreshing it.
hard. Your water's hard. And life is always better with lower KH.
Yeah.
I mean, so just I mean, even if you want to just cut your tap water with RO water, I mean, that's what Dee Dee does. And Dee Dee's, I mean, it changed her life in the hobby to use RO water. I can't, we'll have to ask her exactly how much she cuts it. But, you know, if you could cut it like 75% RO and 25% your tap, it would rock your world. So Barry says, if nitrates are off the chart, will plants compensate or still need water changes? So your plants need water changes for lots of reasons. Your fish needs water changes for lots of reasons. The big thing that you're removing with water changes is organic waste. So that has nothing to do with nitrogenous waste. But it's things that your plants can't metabolize and your filter can't metabolize. And it's not necessarily good for your fish because bacteria feast on it. So it's good to get rid of that, and you have to do that. So Stephen and I like to do 50% or more every week. Whatever works with your lifestyle, large regular water changes are good. As for nitrates, your plants are going to use them. I have lots of nitrates. I have lots of light. I have immersed plants. So if you can see here, I've got plants growing on the tops of my tanks. So that wall of plants back there, that's plumbed into the tank. So they need fertilizer. And I add quite a bit of nitrate to my tanks and they use it up. Healthy
Now, do
growing
nitrates harm
plants use
fish?
it. I mean, at a certain point, yes. But I mean, a lot of people have documented more than 50 ppm of nitrates, and it's fine. Now, are every species of fish as hardy?
Mm.
Probably not. But I would say, like, I would never keep a planted tank with below 10 ppm of nitrate. They need nitrate. They need it. You know, it's the
Yeah.
most important macronutrient because I'm not counting carbon as a macronutrient. So NPK, nitrogen, phosphate, potassium, those are NPKs. And those are things you typically have to add at least some. Even for a low tech tank, you need to add some. So fish waste will get you partway there, but you may need to add a little bit more. And in my experience, when your plants are growing really well, they chew through a lot of it. And I can tell when I haven't been fertilizing really well. It's like my Java ferns look like crap. They'll have lots of like little pinholes in them. They just won't look very good. And other things they just look bad. And it just means I need to add more. So you still need to change water for your fish health, for your plant health. But your plants are going to use nitrates too. You'll probably need to add more. So
I'm trying to find the RO unit for whip.
So you're thinking of getting an RO unit. I think that's great, Whip. I think it would really,
Think it'll help.
if you want to have a planted tank, I think it's the way to go. And then I don't think you would even need to do CO2 because, if you had KH of 1 water,
Yeah.
you can do
What do
a
you think? Like a 5-stage?
Yeah.
I think the 5-stage is like an extra carbon. I don't know. I mean, you
Yeah,
probably customize it however you want, but I think usually it's an extra.
yeah. And I don't
Extra
have a
carbon.
lot of experience personal. I mean, I have a lot of experience in the lab with RO water, but I've never used it in the hobby. So Mike is a good person to ask. Mike, all things fish, because he has really hard water. He lives in Iowa. So we should ask what Mike uses.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, bulk reef supply is not the only place that you can get them from, but this is
Yeah.
just they usually have a sale. I don't know if they're on sale right now, but
Yeah, I don't
150
know when
gallons
they
per
sell
day.
for. I mean, it's a lot. It's cheaper to use CO2, but honestly, like your water is so hard that yeah.
Yeah, 1.5 to 1 waste to product water ratio. It's pretty good.
Wow. That's pretty good. Mary says I do water changes, but still high. Just started plants. So you have a monstera, that's cool. And that's an immersed plant. Oh, so monstera doesn't want to grow submersed. It can grow submersed for a little bit, but it's not going to be happy long term. You want it growing out of the tank.
Yeah.
So I would try some plants in your tank. Some easy weeds. So some easy weeds are Pogostemon stellatus octopus is really easy. Brazilian pennywort, that's an easy plant. Hygrophila sunset is easy. Let's see, what's another one you can get? Rotala rotundifolia, that's an easy
Mhm.
weed. And like Aquarium Co-op has lots of easy plants, but I would look for stems that are fast growing. I think that would really help you a lot. And make sure that your test kit is new. Because if you're always reading high nitrates, even when you do water changes, like if you do a big water change, test your water before, test your tap water. Because if you're adding nitrates with your tap water, which sometimes you do, like some people have water that has nitrate in it, having more plants are going to really help you. More plants help a lot of things. More plants help plants to grow. It's crazy, but it's true.
They're good for your mental health too.
Yeah, that's true, especially in the winter. They do make me happier. Yeah. I mean, that's what Candy was saying earlier, that all the green around her made her feel better. It helps. Yeah.
Here,
So
I don't
Mickham
know.
says, hi, Stephen and Kelly. So is your PET bottled drinking water as hard as your tap water in the US? So bottled tap water really varies. Depending on if it's like RO water, which some of them are. Some of them add more minerals. There's no standardization in bottled drinking water.
And I drink straight from the tap because
I
my
drink tap
water is
water too.
just
Yeah.
baking soda water, basically. It's good.
I have nice water here in Fort Wayne too. It's very clean, it tastes good. So I just drink my tap water too. Some people don't have good tap water to drink in the US, so they don't drink it. But I would say most people do drink their tap water in the US. That's a cultural difference. I know like in Germany, they don't want to drink tap water. Like they always order bottled water at restaurants.
Hmm.
We usually drink tap water here. So
Alrighty.
it's time for us to have dinner. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody. And
Yeah.
there's streams happening in a few minutes. There's I think Hagen Hill and Steenfot, and I don't know if Scotty's streaming.
I don't know. He's got his kitties. But happy holidays to everyone. And I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas and New Year's. And we'll see you all after that.
Yep. Bye.
Bye, everyone.